So, organized labor is not just angered by planned removal of fuel subsidy in Nigeria. They are poised for war with the federal government on the matter. They are also angry over the inability of successive governments to fix refineries while striving to remove fuel subsidy. The Trade Union Congress, TUC, accused the federal government of wasting $9.5 billion on moribund refineries in 10 years through turnaround maintenance. The national president of TUC, Quadri Olaleye, who made the accusation, said corruption and inefficiency in the oil and gas sector are responsible for the mess staring the country in the face. Julie, we've always been saying this, that these refineries, they have workers. Those workers, they go on training, some of them foreign training, and they earn very, very good, fat salaries. And we keep doing this turnaround maintenance, and these projects are referred to as moribund. 4 months ago or so, I think another $1 billion was actually, dedicated, saying that in 44 months or so, that they're going to be working optimally.
You see, I may not always agree with labor leaders, because labor leaders will sometimes let you down when you expect them to fight certain causes to a logical conclusion. But I believe that the TUC was right in questioning our expenditure on refineries that are literally dead. Because if you are not refining a drop of crude oil for the entire year, why are people still there earning salaries and all that?
For years.
It's been like that. So, and they are saying, look, the kind of money that we have dedicated to this turnaround maintenance makes no sense. We have failed, the leadership has failed our nation. Government after government refused to run the refineries the right way. It is not the age of the refineries that is the problem. It's the fact that for years we did not maintain the refineries the right way. The turnaround maintenance for the refineries was sometimes given to people who are not qualified to do the turnaround maintenance. For example, Chiyoda built the refinery in Kaduna. What is wrong in bringing Chiyoda that built the refinery to come and do turnaround? Sometimes you bring DBN from France and other people, and then there will be a problem. There was a particular year that as they were doing turnaround maintenance, the fuel catalytic unit caught fire. And the refinery was shut for a long time. You are doing turnaround and the refinery was catching fire. If you look at some of the refineries in the world, Bradford is the oldest running refinery in the US. In fact, it's the oldest in the whole, it's in Philadelphia, and is the oldest in North America. Bradford was built in 1881. Not only that, there is even in there is Ras Tanura in Saudi Arabia, built in 1940, is still operating as one of the Aramco refineries. So it is how you maintain these refineries that matters the most. There is Pioneer Oil Refinery that was built on March 6, 1935 in the US, in California. And the US. It's still there, it's still running. We have, how many refineries do we have that we can't maintain them? America alone, as we speak, at least as at 2019, America had 135 operating refineries, and 27 of them are in Texas, just one state having 27 refineries. As a country, we can't have more than 4 or 5 refineries. That is even including the modular refineries. Promises will be made by successive government, we won't see anything happening. So we as a country, we will let ourselves down. At the peak of the oil boom in the 80s, America had 250 refineries.
So I want to ask you, Adekunle Yusuf, with the monies you've had through oil and everything, is it that there's never been that administration that would think about projects for tomorrow? That's, look, let's build our own refinery. Now it's almost impossible for government to build a refinery because the money is not there. They have to borrow.
That is not true.
Oh.
There is no political will on
That's
the
what
part
I'm saying. That
of those
presently now,
in Nigeria.
Presently
when
now,
they want to build rail, when they want to do this, do that, they know where to borrow money. You understand me?
The money is there.
In Nigeria, we love to punish the ordinary folks, the masses, for the failures of those who run our country. Let's be very honest. Ask yourself, why is everybody who happens to become president loves to be the minister of petroleum resources? And at the end of the day, they want to let you know that they want to oversee and make sure that things are right. At the end of the day, things will never be right. They will leave. Yes, under this same government, the time this administration has spent in power is enough to build as many refineries as you want.
Yes.
Have they built anyone? The ones they met on the ground, go and look at what has been spent. You get my point? Nigeria has spent more money than money that should have built new refineries.
Yes,
we have spent more than that
on turnaround maintenance
to maintain dead woods. We call refineries. What happened recently? How much did the federal government approve for the maintenance and whatever we call of Port Harcourt refinery? So when we look at the way we do things, it's not because then there was oil boom, whether we have oil boom or we don't have oil boom. The sincerity on the part of political leaders, here is a government that is saying you want to remove subsidy. The first job you should have done is don't bring in refined oil again. Refined oil, crude oil in Nigeria.
Yes.
Then after that, there won't be any discussion for. But has anybody spoken in that direction? No, they want to inflict more pain. They want to inflict more pain on Nigerians. You understand me? That is, you punish Nigerians for your own failures.
Okay, there's this debate over the number of liters of petrol consumed in the country. Senate President Ahmed Lawal lent his voice to this. Let's hear from the Senate President Ahmed Lawal.
No, I will not speculate. What I'm telling you is a burden, quite all right, and we have to work as an administration. We need to work hard to find a solution to it. We shouldn't push this burden to the ordinary man. 100 million liters of petrol consumed every day in Nigeria. I can tell you it's not correct. I don't believe in that. If it is not so, what do we need to do? We have to sit down and deal with this so that we find a solution as a government. It can't be 100 million liters and then we said this subsidy thing. Yeah, it's a burden. We can use the money freely for other things, especially social development, schools, hospitals. But if we don't do something, how are we sure that it will not even become 200 million liters by the time this thing is, we just remove it, and it's going to take a whole lot of stress on the lives of the people. So I just want to commend Mr. President that he didn't order anybody to say that petroleum subsidy will be removed, even though we know it's a burden. So now our task is, as an administration, we must find a solution.
Senate President Ahmed Lawal there, and still talking about that controversy that it has been a source of debate from forever.
I've always said it here that I disagree that we are consuming 102 million liters a day.
What do we do with it?
No. It's just difficult. It's impossible to prove that we consume that much in one day.
It's because some people want to jack up.
But they've been consistently jacking and nobody is asking questions.
Subsidy thing, so that
yes, the higher claim you make by way of consumption level, the higher the subsidy payment. So we've been saying it here. I've said repeated that I do not agree. Now we can see the Senate President also saying no, that is not true. Maybe some people will wake up now and start calling him whaler. We don't know. But that's the number 3 man in our country saying that he does not agree that we consume that much.
Say it's not so.
If he joins the wayland, that means
Everybody is a
number 3
whaler.
man is now
Because the biggest fraud in our country is in that sector.
Yes, of course, everyone knows.
Nobody can dispute that.
All right, and economics Nemeka Obiareri joins us via Zoom to shed more light on this issue. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Happy New Year, Obiareri.
The same to you, brother.
You are looking good value for the year.
I wanted to say that he's looking fresh.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you want to shed all light into this, and 2022 might quite be turbulent for the Nigerian government and the Nigerian Labour Union on the minimum wage, talking about this fuel subsidy, removal of fuel subsidy or not. So what we are looking at here, it's a big situation that we might have to look for way out. Emeka, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Let's have your view, even on the TUC allegation. I mean, that the government has merely wasted money on those refineries.
$9.5 billion on moribund refineries in 10 years.
Let's have your view.
First of all, you could see I was smiling when the number 3 man, the Senate president, was busy. This is the 60th year in power, lamenting as if they don't know what is really happening. Then for the TUC, it's also very laughable too. I took out time to go through the list of TUC affiliate associations. And the last time I checked, one of the affiliate unions that are affiliated to TUC is the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association. And these are some of those who work in the refineries, some of those who work at the NNPC, and some of those who work in the Petroleum Ministry. Let us face fact and let us tell ourselves the truth. Anytime I see TUC grandstanding or trying to, lament, accusing the government of spending $9.5 billion without fixing, who are the big government? Who are the people? Somebody asked the question, who is the presidency? The problem we have in Nigeria today, let me tell you, the political class and the civil servants, TUC, NLC, the political office holders are at the root cause of the woes we are having at the oil and gas industry, especially the downstream sector. And for them to grandstand and ask that question, you rightly pointed out here, over the last 6 years, we've wasted over 850 billion naira as unfailed turnaround maintenance program and loss on those refineries. Annually, we waste 67 billion naira paying the salaries and the emoluments of redundant, unproductive people, members of the TUC. It never bothered them. If Nigeria is their private companies, if those refineries are privately owned by those members of TUC working there, will they be collecting 67 billion naira annually as salaries without being bothered on what they will have done to fix those refineries? Who are those working at those refineries? Who are those engaged in supervising the contract that came for those turnaround maintenance programs? Where there are no project management. See, the truth remains, and the truth we must accept. The politics of petroleum in Nigeria has become cancerous because successive governments over time from 1999 till now have seen these refineries, have seen NNPC as always the conduit sleazy pipes through which they steal money to prepare for the next election after 4 years. That is why they never bothered to privatize those refineries when they came in 2015. South Africa has over 4 refineries. Those refineries were not built by South African government. Total, Chevron, Shell have stake in those refineries, producing refining over 504,000 barrels of crude oil every day. South Africa does not produce up to 5% of the kind of crude oil we produce in Nigeria. Do you know why it is possible? Because the government in South Africa were very transparent. They understood the purpose and the reason why they must privatize the downstream oil and gas sector and liberalize it in such a way that it do not give way for players in the system to play Ponzi games. what we have been playing with our oil and gas industry over the last 20 years is posing games, and it will get worse. I laugh when people say we consume up to 100 million liters of PMS. It's a lie. Even DPR on their own record says that we consume 38.5 million liters, and which is not also true. If you go through records of some of the oil major marketers that bring in PMS into it, you know they file a ton in their companies where in their countries where they operate. They file a ton. If you check and look at their returns, if you look at the records at the U.S. State Energy Agency on the volume of petroleum products, the white petroleum products that flow to different countries of the whole world, you will discover that on an average, we consume between 32 million to 42 million liters of PMS every day. At most, where are we taking the remaining 56, 58 million liters? They tell you it is smuggled. It's a lie, because if you check the records of the 6 contiguous states that border Nigeria, from Cameroon to Niger to Chad, to Benin Republic to Burkina Faso, even to Togo, their total daily consumption is not up to 9.2 million liters a day. So let us even assume that these countries, even Niger, that refine 3 times what they consume, let us even assume that their own petroleum product disappeared and everybody is smuggling from Nigeria. They don't even import anything. That simply means if you add our total daily consumption, real, based on records of DPR, and the total daily consumption of these countries, it is not more than 46 million liters in a day. So what happened? And you know one funny thing is the NNPC that imports this product wholly. They are the sole importers. That simply means beyond the losses and the criminality happening at the refineries, beyond the criminality and Ponzi scheme happening at the TUC oil and gas sector by word of the PEF and whatever, there are also a Ponzi scheme going by word of the volume of monies we claim that we spend importing the white petroleum product. That is why we are having instability in the forex market, because we are selling crude oil at 83 naira, $82, $83. We expect the excess crude oil to account to increase, but it is depreciating because most of the gains that we got from the crude oil prices over the benchmark of $40 per barrel is being consumed by these lazy cats at the Petroleum Ministry and the NPC, who daily deceive us. And it is so shameful and ridiculous that the third man, the third citizen of Nigeria, is sounding so helpless. In 2011, Saraki, even as a member of National Assembly, was the one that kickstarted the canker worms that unearthed the fraud that happened under the Zani era, that enabled us to even have an idea of what was happening then, when the marketers were playing games. Even based on the records under the Zani, we are consuming 47 million liters to 54 million liters. And the findings of the National Assembly proved clearly that half of those products were not coming in. Kachukwu told us that we consumed at 2 million liters. Let us face fact. If we do not totally deregulate the downstream oil and gas sector and privatize those moribund refineries and allow the market to go on a free float, I tell you, we will come back in the next 4 years with the same story. The next government that will look at the systems.
Let me ask you this question, because we are in a kind of in a valley of decision now. You want the subsidy to go. Former military president Abdulsalami Abubakar has warned that the average Nigerian cannot pay 304 naira a liter. And you know it's even possible that it could go to 400 naira a liter, depending on the price in the international market. Where will this leave the ordinary folks?
Can I come in here? Now, let me explain this to you. You see, the greatest lie and the greatest fallacy that have continued to help these guys to perpetuate this Ponzi scheme in our economy is this lie that the poor masses are benefiting from the subsidy. Let me break it down for you. 52% of the petroleum consumption in Nigeria is done between Lagos State, Ogun State, and the Benin. 52% of all the PMS consumed in Nigeria, and most of them are not even PEF allowable. Now, if you come to Lagos State per se, based on the records in Lagos State Vehicle Registration Agency, we have over 5.1 million cars registered. Out of these 5.1 million cars registered, only 200,000 are for commercial purposes. The rest are private cars. Some people own 4, some own 3, some own 5. And now you talk about the poverty. Over 100 million Nigerians live under extreme poverty. And you see one point we've not even
Once the removal of subsidy worsen their poverty level.
Let me explain. The kerosene, which is consumed by the poor masses, has long been fully deregulated. Go and check. The NGO, which is the gas oil, we talk about movement of goods and services. Most of the long haulage buses, most of the long haulage trucks that convey over 800 million tons of goods across Nigeria do not use PMS. They use diesel. And over time, diesel has been fully deregulated. That is why you see transport costs over time has inched up, because most of those truck drivers had to adjust their prices to be in line with the market realities. The other alternatives, if we decide we must deregulate, what we should be thinking about now is what are we going to do with the excess revenue that we are going to save? Let me tell you the revenue we are going to save. We are going to stop wasting. If we privatize those refineries, we will stop wasting 67 billion naira every year, paying unproductive leases. We will stop spending 120 billion naira every year as losses in the refinery is not working. We will stop most of the criminal money that we steal out of this country, claiming that we're importing 100 million liters every day, when we are actually importing between 35 to 42 million liters every day. We will also stop a lot of shenanigans that happen. Let me tell you, we will have excess of about $6 to $7 billion coming to our federation account. The question should be, what do we do with those excess revenues to provide palliative for the masses? And that is where we provide a solution. Most of these monies, the federal government must sit down with the governors. They are not going to shy to them. The sovereign wealth funds should have to put these monies under control. We have done proposals, honest proposals, on things that can be done in such a very scientific manner that the masses will not feel the pain of the regulation of the oil and gas industry. Even if PMS sells for 420 naira per liter, the templates are there. It has been done in other places. We cannot be the only country in the whole of West Africa that is still subsidizing corruption, profligacy, wickedness, and poverty in the land.
Thank you.
If you look at the budget performance in 2021, 97% of our revenues were used to pay for salaries and of civil servants and political office holders by way of the current expenditure.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your contribution. It could go on and on. It's so passionate about Nigeria and economics. Nemeka Obiari. Maybe at last we are going to just call a national summit on removal of this subsidy.
No, there are concerns that must be addressed.
Yeah.
Every time we increase fuel prices, we talk about palliatives, but the ordinary man does not see the value of those palliatives.
The last one we did was
transport costs alone. I can understand why the Senate President is really worried and saying, look, we should not pass this burden to the ordinary man. Transport cost alone will drive people nuts.
If President Buhari's administration refused to take this step, it will leave it for the new administration.
Yes.
And we must do it, because I understand that our lenders, the World Bank, everybody, they are saying we should do away with this.
So if we don't, as I say, the fact that we have to tell ourselves, it's not sustainable. We are taking money, we are unable to pay salaries, we are taking money from CBN. You've seen economists come out to say, look, using the CBN to address our deficit issues is not good. Even the World Bank has warned us that lending money from CBN, we have to stop. We can't go on like this. I was actually shocked when the finance minister herself came out to say, they had actually been
printing.
This has always been taking money from the CBN to pay salaries.
Let's say directly printing more.
No, CBN has tons of cash. No,
Okay,
without
okay,
necessarily printing. We are saying taking loan.
Yeah, that is not
It's
healthy.
loan. Yeah, taking loan from the CBN.
Somebody will have to do it. We are
It's
postponing the evil
inevitable.
day.
Well, when we have the leadership that truly has Nigerians at heart, there are ways to go about it. Okay, give yourself timeline. We want to remove this subsidy, and this is what we do. Give yourself timelines. You can build refineries, work on this. If you want to privatize everything, and make sure you don't import refined fuel again, then that's the end of subsidy. But any other thing, it shows that the leadership is not interested in the average masses.
No, it's a quick fix that we are
That's not quick. That's
quick fix.
That's callousness.